Welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. Thank you again for watching another terrific show of the EQ Video Tip. Before we jump in, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. What's on tap for today? We have a great article from Eric Barker, one of our favorites, and he talks about how to be productive without being miserable. And what do you mean by that, Eric? Well, the real thing that Eric Barker is telling us is, yeah, we can be productive all the time, but sometimes it comes at as an expense to our everyday life. We have to work so hard. We have to turn ourselves into some kind of robot or machine to get through the day and do all those things to be productive. And when we do that, we end up being miserable. Instead of doing that, Eric's going to give us a bunch of tips on how to be productive without being miserable. Let's take a look. Tip number 1, start the day happy and potentially scrub your way to creativity. What do we mean by starting your day happy? Well, if you like to work out in the morning, or you like to play video games, or read a book, whatever it does that makes you happy, start your day with that as opposed to something that's going to make you miserable, like completing the 20 tasks that you have to do for work. Additionally, you can scrub your way to creativity. If you're a morning shower person, spend a little extra time in the shower and figure out those new ideas that are going to pop into your head when your mind kind of wanders for a few minutes. But most importantly, take the time to make sure you're starting your day happy as opposed to in a menial task that's going to drive you crazy. And in doing so, you will begin to unlock that happiness. Tip number 2, close the to kill worries loop, as well as make awful tasks your own. Basically own them. What's the loop to kill worries? Well, that basically is when you think to yourself, oh my God, I'm never going to get this done. And your brain is like a smartphone that keeps notifying you of things that you don't want to deal with. It keeps giving you that anxiety, like, I'm never going to get this done. I'm never going to complete it. Instead, come up with a plan to actually go through those tasks and make sure that you have that plan and you execute on it. Additionally, when you have some awful tasks that are just menial and you just can't deal with on a day-to-day basis, turn that into something different. Figure out a way that you can inject your own self into the process. What's going to make it more interesting? Can you play a game? How can you leverage your strengths to make it better? But in doing so, you're going to kill that loop that says, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I can't do this. And at the same time, you're going to make these awful tasks your own, making you more productive and less miserable. Tip number 3, break down procrastination and keep your progress visible. What do we mean by that? Well, if you're going to go do a major task, you're not going to complete the whole task in one big sitting. Instead, break it down into micro tasks so that you can actually go through and say, I can complete this. For example, the author talks about, hey, Genghis Khan didn't go through and say, I'm going to go conquer Asia. Instead, he said, I'm going to tackle it one city at a time. The same thing here. If you're building a skyscraper, you don't put the roof on first. You go brick by brick to set the foundation. Do the same thing when you're breaking down your procrastination. Find task after task, and then keep progress of what you did as opposed to what you need to do. This will show you that you have a list of things that you've already conquered and make you more motivated as you go through your day and then through your week. In doing so, you'll be happier because you're going through and tracking your progress as opposed to what you need to do as well. This will help you be more productive and, of course, less miserable during your day. Our last tip, forgiveness will keep you going. What do we mean by this? Well, talk to yourself like a friend would talk to you if you didn't finish your task. Be self-compassionate. Think to yourself like, how would I feel if my friend was experiencing this? What would I tell them if they couldn't get things done? It's okay to let yourself off the hook that sometimes you had a lazy day or you didn't complete a task, but don't beat yourself up over and over again. Instead, make sure that you're giving yourself a dose of self-compassion, something that you might tell a friend like, hey, you've got this, or hey, look at all the support that you're getting, and give that encouragement that you would give to someone else. In doing so, be nice to yourself because everybody screws up and you will feel better in the long run. Not only that, you'll be more productive and you won't be miserable trying to accomplish those big tasks. That's a wrap for this week's EQ video tip. Hopefully the tips from Eric Barker will help you in terms of being more productive and less miserable as you go through that productivity stage. Remember, take these tasks that Eric is giving you and use them to become more productive and customize them to the best of your ability as well. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.